Evan walked home on a quiet night after a long day at work. The streets were empty, and only a soft wind moved through the trees. He liked this silence because it helped him forget his problems. But that night felt strange. The air felt heavier, and the sky looked darker than usual, as if something was hiding above the clouds. Evan tried to ignore this feeling, but a small part of him kept watching the shadows around him. As he walked past the old park, he heard something behind him. It was not footsteps. It was not an animal sound. It was a voice, a soft, shaky voice that did not sound human. It whispered, "Human, I need you." Evan stopped, confused. He slowly turned around. At first, he saw nothing. Then, from behind a tree, a small figure stepped out. His breath caught in his chest. A girl, no, not a normal girl, stood there with glowing blue skin and silver eyes that looked almost sad. Her hair floated like it was underwater, even though the air was still. She stared at Evan with fear in her eyes, like she was running from something. Evan took a step back. He thought he was dreaming or losing his mind. But the girl lifted her hand as if she did not want him to run. "Please," she said softly, "I need you. Don't scream. Don't be afraid. You must come with me." Before Evan could ask anything, a bright light flashed under their feet. A circle of strange symbols glowed around them. He tried to jump out, but the girl grabbed his wrist. Her hand was cold and shaking. "Please don't fight," she whispered. "If you fight, they will find me. And they will kill me." Her voice sounded so desperate that Evan froze. Suddenly, the symbols on the ground began spinning. Light shot upward like a pillar. Evan felt his body rise into the air. He shouted, but no sound came out. The world around him dissolved into white light. He felt pressure in his chest, like all the air was pushed out. When the light faded, Evan found himself lying on a cold metal floor. His ears rang. He blinked several times, trying to understand where he was. The room looked like the inside of a spaceship. Strange blue lights moved across the walls like living things. Machines hummed softly, and the whole place smelled like metal and ozone. The alien girl stood near him, her hands shaking. She looked even more scared now than before. Evan sat up quickly. "What did you do to me?" he shouted. "Where am I? Why did you bring me here?" The girl flinched at his voice. Her silver eyes filled with fear. "I'm sorry," she said quietly. "I did not want to hurt you. I had no choice. They are hunting me. You are the only human who can help me. If they catch me, it will be the end." Evan stared at her. He could feel his heart pounding. He did not know whether to be angry or terrified. "Help you? Why me? I don't even know you." The girl nodded slowly. "I know," she whispered, "but I know you. Your name is Evan. You saved someone on your planet 2 years ago. That action sent a signal. My people noticed it. You are special, even if you don't know it." Evan's head spun. This made no sense. He opened his mouth to ask more questions, but suddenly the room shook. A loud alarm began to ring. Red lights flashed everywhere. The girl gasped and looked at the ceiling with pure terror. "They found us," she whispered. "The hunters. They are here." Evan's confusion turned into fear. The ship shook again, harder this time. The metal walls bent slightly, like something powerful had hit the outside. Evan realized this was not a joke or a dream. He was in real danger. The girl grabbed his hand again. "Please trust me," she said. "If we stay here, we die. You must come with me." Evan looked into her glowing eyes. She was not lying. She was terrified. Something outside wanted her dead. And because she brought him here, they might want him dead too. With no choice left, Evan followed her deeper into the ship, not knowing that this strange night would change the fate of 2 worlds. Evan ran after the alien girl as the ship shook again. Each vibration stronger than the last. Strange blue sparks fell from the ceiling. The lights flickered, and a deep metallic roar came from outside the ship. Evan had never heard anything like it before. The sound was not human. It was something big, cold, and angry. He felt fear rise inside his chest, but he kept running behind the girl because she clearly knew the ship better than he did. The girl led him into a narrow hallway filled with long pipes and glowing screens. She pressed her hand to the wall, and a small door slid open. Inside was a round room with a large window looking into space. Evan saw dark shapes moving outside ships with sharp wings and red lights glowing like eyes. They circled the ship slowly, like predators waiting for the perfect moment to strike. Evan swallowed hard. "Who are they?" he asked. The girl looked at him with fear. "Hunters," she whispered. "They are soldiers for my people. They want to take me back. But if they do, they will end me, and anyone who helps me." Evan stared at her. "Why would your own people want to kill you?" She hesitated. Her silver eyes trembled. "Because I broke our law. I tried to help beings from another world. We are forbidden to help humans. We are forbidden to even speak to humans. But I saw something in your planet, something my people lost long ago." He frowned. "What did we lose?" The girl looked at him with a soft, sad expression. "Empathy," she said, "and courage. My people are advanced, but empty. They fear everything. They destroy what they cannot understand. They saw Earth as a danger. But I saw hope." Evan felt confused. He was just an ordinary guy. He didn't feel special. "Why did you pick me?" he asked. "You saved a stranger before," she said, "when you risked your life for someone you did not know." That action created a signal of pure human emotion. My technology detected it across the stars. I followed it. I believed the one who made that choice could save me. Before Evan could respond, the ship shook violently, throwing him against the wall. He groaned and tried to stand. The girl grabbed his arm and pulled him up. "We must leave," she said. "They will break in soon." The door suddenly burst open. Red smoke flashed inside the hallway. Evan saw tall, armored figures with glowing red helmets. They raised strange weapons that hummed with dangerous energy. Evan's heart froze. The hunters were here. "Run!" the girl cried. She dragged Evan through another door, and it sealed behind them. The hunters began pounding on it with heavy metal fists. Each hit bent the door a little more. The girl pressed glowing symbols on a console. The floor began to move downward like an elevator. Evan felt his stomach drop. "Where are we going?" he asked. "To an escape pod." She answered, "But it will only work if you activate it with me." Evan blinked. "Why me again?" "It's because the pod needs 2 life patterns," she said. "One alien, one human. It is an old design. It was made for peace missions, not war." The elevator stopped. Another door slid open, revealing a small round chamber. In the center was a glowing sphere with 2 hand-shaped marks on it, one bigger, one smaller. The girl placed her hand on the smaller mark. "Put your hand there," she said urgently. Evan hesitated. This felt like a trap, but the ship shook again. He heard metal tearing above them. The hunters were coming. He took a deep breath and placed his hand on the larger mark. The sphere glowed bright white. A soft hum filled the room. The walls around them shifted, forming a small escape pod. The girl sighed in relief. "Thank you," she whispered. The pod launched suddenly, throwing Evan backward. Through the small window, he saw the hunter ships firing at the bigger ship. It exploded in silence, a giant flash of blue light in the dark of space. Evan felt shock hit him. He was now floating through space in a tiny pod with a terrified alien girl who believed only he could save her. "What now?" Evan asked softly. The girl looked at him with tired eyes. "Now," she said, "you choose if you want to help me live, or let the galaxy decide my fate." The escape pod flew through space with shaking walls and flickering lights. Evan tried to steady himself, holding the sides as the small pod spun past broken pieces of the destroyed ship. Beside him, the alien girl sat quietly, her silver eyes watching the stars slip past them. She looked weak now, as if the explosion had drained her energy. Evan wanted answers, but he could see she was struggling. He waited until her breathing slowed and her hands stopped shaking. "Are you okay?" he asked softly. She nodded, but it was a slow, tired motion. "My name is Lyra," she whispered. "I should have told you sooner. I am sorry." Evan sighed. "I guess we're past the introduction stage now," he said, trying to lighten the situation. But Lyra didn't smile. Instead, she looked down at her hands, which were glowing faintly. "My energy is fading," she said quietly. "I cannot survive long without a safe place to recover." Just then, the pod screen lit up with a red warning. A deep mechanical voice said, "Crash landing incoming. Prepare." Evan's eyes widened. Crash landing? On what? Lyra pointed to a dark, shadowy planet below. The surface looked cloudy and covered in fog, with almost no sunlight reaching it. "That planet," she said, "it is uncharted. Dangerous, but it is our only choice." Before Evan could argue, the pod entered the atmosphere. Flames rushed across the window as the pod shook violently. Evan grabbed Lyra and held her close to protect her from the impact. The pod smashed into the ground with a thunderous crash, sliding across rocky terrain before finally stopping. Evan opened his eyes slowly. Smoke filled the small pod. "Lyra, are you alive?" She moved her fingers weakly. "Yes, but I am very weak. This place drains light." Evan pushed the broken door open and climbed out. The air felt heavy, thick, and cold. Dark mist curled around the ground. Strange trees with long black branches rose from the soil, their shapes twisted like they were reaching for something. This was not a friendly world. Evan helped Lyra out of the pod. She almost collapsed, so he supported her with his arm. Her glowing skin dimmed even more. "I am sorry," she whispered again. "You should not have come. This place is dangerous for your kind too." "Well, I didn't exactly buy a ticket," Evan muttered, looking around nervously. He had no idea where they were or what lived here. As they walked away from the pod, he heard distant noises, soft growling, crawling sounds, and something like wings fluttering through the mist. Shadows moved between the trees. Evan tried not to panic. "What lives here?" he asked. Lyra shook her head. "Old creatures, forgotten creatures. They hunt anything that moves." Evan stopped. "So we're walking buffet." Lyra didn't understand the joke, but her eyes told him the truth. Yes, they were prey. She pointed toward a faint blue glow in the distance. "There," she said, "ancient ruins. They may have energy. I can restore some strength there." Evan supported her and moved quickly, trying not to look at the shapes stalking them. But the shadows kept getting closer. Every time he blinked, they seemed to be a little nearer. They finally reached the ruins' massive stone structures covered in strange carvings. Evan touched one of the walls and was surprised. "These look human," he whispered. The carvings showed tall figures with human-like faces holding glowing objects. Lyra nodded weakly. "My ancestors were allies of early humans long ago. These ruins were built for peace. They hold old energy that responds to human emotion." Evans stared at her. "Human emotion?" "Yes," she whispered. "My people lost that power. You did not. That is why I needed you." Before Evan could ask more, a loud screech echoed behind them. A dark creature crawled out of the mistlong, skeletal, with glowing yellow eyes and sharp limbs. Evan felt fear grip his whole body. Lyra collapsed. "I cannot run," she said softly. "I am sorry, Evan." Evan stepped in front of her without thinking. He had no weapon, no armor, just fear and determination. but something inside him refused to leave her. The creature hissed and moved closer. Evan looked down at Lyra, who lay helpless. "You said these ruins respond to human emotion," he said, taking a deep breath. "So I hope fear counts." He placed his hand on the glowing stone carvings. The walls lit up instantly. A bright blue wave of energy shot outward, hitting the creature and sending it flying into the dark forest. Lyra stared at him in awe. "You activated it," she whispered. Evan helped her stand. "Yeah," he said breathlessly. "Let's hope this place has more tricks. Because I think more of those things are coming." And deeper inside the ruins, something ancient began to awaken. The glowing walls slowly dimmed after the blast of energy faded, leaving Evan and Lyra in a soft blue light. The creature that attacked them had disappeared into the forest, but its screech still echoed in Evan's ears. He took a deep breath and helped Lyra sit against one of the ancient stone pillars. "You saved us," she whispered, her voice full of surprise and something like hope. Evan looked at his shaking hands. "I didn't know what I was doing," he said honestly. "I just reacted." "That is what makes humans powerful," Lyra replied with weak confidence, instinct mixed with emotion. "My people cannot do that anymore." Evan wasn't sure if he believed any of this, but he didn't have time to think. The ruins trembled slightly, and a strange metallic sound echoed in the distance. It wasn't the creatures from the forest. This sound was louder, heavier, and far more controlled. Lyra's eyes widened in fear. "No," she whispered. "Not him. Not now." "Who?" Evan asked. A cold voice answered. "Me?" Evan froze. Out of the mist, a figure emerged, tall, armored, and terrifying. His armor was black with glowing red veins pulsing through it. His helmet had sharp angles, and two burning red eyes glared at Evan. A hunter, the leader. He stepped forward slowly, each footstep cracking the stones beneath him. Lyra tried to stand, but her legs gave out. She collapsed beside Evan, trembling. The hunter's voice was deep and metallic. "Lyra, you have disgraced your people. You helped a human. You broke sacred law." Lyra lowered her head, unable to speak. The hunter turned to Evan. "And you, human, are a mistake. You should not exist in our records. Yet here you are." Evan felt fear rising inside him, but something else rose with a tangor. "I didn't ask for any of this," he said. "I didn't ask to be taken." The hunter tilted his head. "Humans always say that. But your kind is dangerous, unpredictable. You carry emotions that can break systems, destroy order, and change fate." "Good," Evan said sharply. "Maybe fate needs changing." The hunter took another step forward. "You cannot protect her," he said coldly. "You are fragile. You are weak." Evan stepped in front of Lyra, blocking the hunter's view of her. His heart pounded so hard he thought it might burst, but he didn't move. The hunter seemed amused. "A human trying to defend an alien fugitive," he said, pathetic. Evan knew he had no weapon, no armor, no training, but he stood tall anyway. "I'm not leaving her." The hunter lunged forward with incredible speed, swinging a glowing blade made of red energy. Evan barely jumped aside. The blade struck the stone wall, carving a deep, burning scar into it. Evan scrambled behind another pillar. The hunter was stronger than anything he had ever seen. But maybe, just maybe, he wasn't as smart. Evan noticed something. The hunter's armor flickered near the legs every time he stepped. A small glitch, a weakness. He grabbed a loose stone from the ground. It was stupid, it was desperate, but he had no other choice. The hunter charged again. Evan threw the stone at the weak point. The hunter staggered. His armor sparked. Evan rushed forward, pushing with all his strength and slamming into the hunter's knees. The alien let out a surprised roar as he fell sideways, crashing into a pillar and breaking it in half. Lyra gasped. Evan, how did you? Evan was panting hard. Humans don't need claws or lasers, he said. We just need to think fast. The hunter stood slowly, furious now. You dare challenge me? He raised his weapon again, ready to strike. But then the ruins beneath them glowed brighter than before. The carvings responded to Evan's emotions, fear, courage, anger, determination all mixing inside him. A wave of blue light rose from the ground, forming a barrier around Evan and Lyra. The hunter slashed it, but the blade bounced off harmlessly. He growled, "This ancient energy." I thought it was dead. Lyra finally stood with effort. "It is not dead," she said weakly. "It is human-powered." Evan stepped forward. "And I'm not done yet." The hunter glared at them, realizing this fight would not be easy. He stepped back into the mist, his voice echoing through the ruins. "This is not over, human. Prepare yourself. We'll return." Then he vanished. Evan collapsed beside Lyra, exhausted. "He's coming back," he said. Lyra nodded slowly. "Yes, but next time, you will have the power to fight." Evan didn't know what that meant. But inside the ruins, something ancient began to pulse like a beating heart waiting for him.